So we're in Newcastle today, and it's a beautiful sunny day in April, and it's very, very windy today, so I don't know whether you're going to be able to hear me or not. But I just had a nice vantage point here. Over on the right hand side there, we have an art gallery, which is, I think, got 5 floors in it, and that's the Baltic Art Gallery. I think it used to be an old flour mill, so it's quite an interesting building. I've been there quite a few times. Now I have to say it's hit and miss. Sometimes you see fantastic art there that I can instantly enjoy. Other times I'm a bit bamboozled, and that's probably my lack of education in art, but it's worth going to. Every floor is going to be different, have different exhibitions at different times. And if I pan left a little bit, we've got the Millenium Bridge there, which is a fantastic pedestrian bridge, but it's a winking bridge. It actually lifts up to allow big ships to come through, and sometimes you see that happening. And it's a very convenient bridge to get from here on the Gateshead side into Newcastle on the left. And if I keep panning round, over on the other side of the river, there's a market which runs along on the weekend, which is really, really nice. It's good fun, loads of different food, different things to buy. But the reason for our trip today is to actually come to the Glasshouse. So if I just pan round again, it's an amazing building. We'll see it from a different angle later on. It runs along the direction of the river, and it's a classical music centre. So we're going to see a piano guy today doing some classical. So that will please everybody, my son and my wife, so we should enjoy it. Well, we've just been to a piano concert at the Glasshouse, which was fantastic. It's still really, really windy, but what we're going to do now is have a walk across the Millenium Bridge, and it's beautiful in the sunshine and the clouds today, despite it being a bit cold. But let's go and have a look at it. So here we are on the Millenium Bridge. Just looking at the water there, it is moving really, really fast. I think it's because there's been so much rain over the last few days. But I would not want to be in that water right now. So if we have a look, you can see the bridge. There's Vicky and Ben. So we're visiting Central Arcade today in Newcastle, and it's a fabulous arcade building. So many lovely things here. Just look on the floor, all this tiling and everything. It's like it's out of a Roman building. It's just beautiful. And we look up at the windows up there, and all the tiling in the Central Arcade. You've got some very nice shops here. The one that we're actually here to see today is called Windows Music Shop, and they've got a fabulous selection of instruments, multiple floors, and interestingly they used to have a massive library upstairs of music books that you could buy, which we have bought some for my son who's studying piano. But the last time they were in there, it was actually, I think, the last day they were selling those books, because the European supplier has decided to go online. So they've brought back in all of the music books which were sale or return, and they keep them in a central store, and you could order them online. Now it's a real shame, because it's a fantastic resource. You could just come to the shop, pick up virtually anything, you know, really obscure stuff, technical stuff that people needed, but that's no longer available. They're trying to build up their own library again, but it's difficult because they have to buy the books in, so they're only going to buy books that they're going to be able to sell quickly. So yeah, it's a shame for them, and it's a shame for the consumers as well. But I'm going to come in and have a little look around now. So we're continuing our walk around Newcastle, and we're right in the centre here in Gray's Monument. If we just have a look at this, this is a massive monument, and it's to Sir Charles Grey. Now he was a Prime Minister who in 1832 pushed through the Parliamentary Reform Act, which gave the vote to a larger proportion of the people in the UK. So he was really liked for doing this. The people of Newcastle built this monument to him, and he can go all the way to the top. You can see him up there. However, he never actually came to have a look. But let's just have a little walk around. It's a really nice space, this, actually. It's quite a big open space, and people kind of congregate here. Sometimes you get people promoting something, or they might have some issue that they want to talk about, and you'll get a whole group of people. They'll set stands up and have loud hailers and talks, but generally it's pretty nice, chilled out. There's a guy over there playing some music, and we'll make our way down to Grey Street. Again, this is a beautiful street. We've got the theatre there, and it goes all the way down to the quayside. Now just imagine this 100 years ago or 200 years ago. It would just be extraordinary, horse and carts everywhere. But now most of it is pedestrianised, and they're doing quite a lot of work to make things one way, where there are cars allowed. And in fact, over on my right there's the Central Arcade, which we saw a little bit earlier. Now we did pop into the shop because we're interested in buying a piano. We spoke to the staff, and the bad news is that the owners of the business are in their 80s and they actually want to sell it now, but no buyer has come forward. So they're unsure about what's going to happen with that business. Now that would be a real tragedy to people in the music community in this area. But I guess that's just the modern world. Well, I'm still in Newcastle and just kind of wandering around. I thought it might be interesting just to have a look at the people that walk past, and it's going to go on YouTube, so it'll be interesting in 100 years. We'll have this little video, if YouTube still exists, where you can see what people are wearing, what they're doing, just wandering around. There's a guy, little busker doing music in the background. I gave him £1. Seemed like a very nice guy, but very low tech. But it was good fun. Yeah, so we're in colour. You can see people what they're wearing. It's funny when you actually look at people. Some people are very much into getting to their destination. Others are kind of wandering around in their own little trance, like zombies. They've got that kind of shopping zombie look. I'm guilty of having it myself sometimes, especially when you're going out with someone else shopping and your goal is not to shop, you just kind of tag along. So I'm getting closer to the bottom of the street now, and there is a Five Guys there. I actually went to Five Guys for the first time, I don't know, about a month ago with my son, and I have to say it was really, really good, but really, really expensive. So it's not something you do very often. And there we go. So, working our way down Grey Street, here is the Theatre Royal, and it's a fantastic theatre. And I can't imagine people spending loads and loads of money on creating a building like this now. They just wouldn't. They wouldn't do it at all. So it's a shame. So let's continue walking down. And I'm always amazed at the architecture in this town. This must have been such a super wealthy place when it was being built. Just look at all these magnificent stone buildings, multi-floor buildings. Just absolutely beautiful. Must be quite an extraordinary place to live. I mean, I love visiting Newcastle. It's such a great city. And I'm not a big fan of cities, but I have to say I like this one. I went to Manchester last year and I just found it a bit rough and ready. I didn't get it. I know loads of people love Manchester, but I didn't really like it very much.